another one that I had was, and we may have been on the beach again, but what happened was, I remember I have a memory when I was a kid, and we were on the beach with my mom, and it was really foggy. And I remember she, I don't know how old I was, maybe 6, 7, because I remember she was a giant, right? Like she was really tall, and she's only 5'5". But anyway, I remember hearing the water, and she's like, "Don't get near the water. It'll pull you in." And she started describing me the undertow, and it scared the hell out of me. I was like, "Oh my God, there's something that's going to pull me in." So that popped up as well. And I remember that reinforcement. But that was when I was like, okay, so now I understand the problem here, right? I mean, there was this drowning thing, and then there was this reinforcement there. And so I never liked when I had to turn up those bad negative memories in your program.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what I focused on. And that was a turning point for me, because now I had identified the problem. So.
Oh yeah. So that's I love that. I love that. So, and it sounds like being able to embrace the stuff that you didn't like actually helped to reveal a deeper source of what you were really experiencing.
That's a good way you put it, is exactly that, when you embrace it. Because now the way I look at it is, the reason why those other things weren't working, psyching myself out, getting all whatever to get over it, is that the fear is like your friend, right? I mean, it does keep you on your toes. It's there for a reason, right? I mean, it'll help you prepare. Like when I go rock climbing or jumping off an airplane or whatever I do, that fear it's very valuable. But when you, like anything else, when you overdose on something, it's too much, right? So it can paralyze you as well. So that's the thing I liked about what you and Brian do, or you and Ani do, Brian, is that it teaches you to embrace that, accept it, and just have it as your friend, but then like put it in your backpack and then continue on. So that's exactly it.
Part of it also was uncovering to actually do the polarity of what you want to constantly do, right? And it came to even the day-to-day of, even in his workflow, of creating that space to do what's uncomfortable. So, for example, he works in an industry where it's constantly a go, go, go. And there's really no room for breaks unless you make the time for those breaks, And sometimes just pushing through that came to a point where, there was nowhere to go, and it came to a pause, and he couldn't move further. So he was stuck. And that energy I saw transcending also in part of the fight or flight into the fear response, into what we're doing on a deeper subconscious level. Because then practicing stepping away for even 5 minutes to go ground the energy, to center, to practice the tapping, the disruption, pattern disruption, allow that space to create more room for him to move forward again. So I just remember him constantly practicing that, and it also showing up where he was just able to move more forward in just even his greater fear, right? His bigger goal.
Have you used this methodology for yourself, again, with or without Kasia, but for anything else you got going on?
Yeah, well, the first answer to that is I finally learned how to surf, which was something I always wanted to do. So
yeah,
that was the big one. But yeah, for sure. I mean, when the pattern disruption is key, because like sometimes I used to feel very drained when I do part of my job. I work for Microsoft, just so everyone knows, and I have a new job now, by the way. It's with Microsoft, but it's more of an architect role. So I now have to meet with these big customers, and they're very intimidating, right? They're the C-level people and things like that. I used to feel very drained because I would just give everything, and then I didn't know about the pattern disruption. So doing that, it's kind of like, the way I see it is, you're plugging yourself in, kind of like your phone. You're giving it a recharge based on like solar panels, because it's my own energy that I'm creating. So I use that on a weekly basis for that. Dealing with people who you dislike. I mean, I'm sorry, but there are people that you dislike for many reasons, right? That's another thing, is identifying that and just working through that, doing the pattern disruption there, and just recognizing that, accepting things you, like I said, dislike, fear, whatever the negative energy there is accepting that. And then I think one thing that's really stuck with me, Brian, is, do you remember when we did this? I I don't remember the name for it, but we did this analysis of
Motivation.
Yeah, we did a motivational map. Yeah, we did a motivational map for you. Yep.
Yeah, that also fit into everything, because I learned to recognize my strengths and weaknesses, specifically in the workplace. And again, going back to the cross mapping aspect and identifying things that I don't like and why that is. And just like the acceptance of fear, it taught me that there are some things that I don't like and I'm not really good at. So therefore I should use my strengths to kind of prop that up and do things like delegate. Don't be afraid to delegate some of the things that I don't like doing. Like, I don't like putting PowerPoint presentations together. I like presenting them and making them like if I did it, but it just used to drain me. So I could keep on going for some of the things that I do it for, but those are the big ones that I use on a day-to-day basis.
First off, he accomplished what he set out to do, and he was consistent in practicing the tools. Without practicing the tools, it's nothing, right? The program's nothing. So just seeing him using the tools and seeing the tools working, I mean, I have to give one more example. I'm sorry if I have. Can I give one more example? Especially when he used the tools, there was some of these big meetings that he'd have and presentations he'd had were, like he mentioned, really draining on him. And at the end of the day, he would just go back in his room and put his sunglasses on and not want to see the world. Well, we kind of shifted that with cross mapping, and after his meeting, I saw that he needed a quick coach session, so we hopped on a quick call. We did some pattern disruption, and he felt more energy in his body, felt more relief, and he actually was able to go out and celebrate his evening after his hard working day. So I guess along his journey, the big arc was seeing more energy show up and more motivation show up. The more we use those tools and the more we kept disrupting those patterns to make the room and space to shift those patterns and in the deeper subconscious.